recording. Hello, everybody. You can wave if you want. Theresa, I know, loves it. Okay. All right. Are we ready? We're ready, I think. Recording's going. I'll start this, and we're ready to go.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
GC Community Chat, show number 211.
Hello, I'm Dave Cooper, known as Dave AC Online, and you're listening to GC Community Chat with your host, Kerry Partin.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to GC Community Chat. I'm your host, Kerry, and joining me tonight is Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc, Dr. Tom Iwinski, and Derek Parton. This show is dedicated to you, the residents and businesses of Garden City, as well as the surrounding communities. Remember, we're working hard to promote our community and yours.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of GC Community Chat. And it's Thursday, August 7th, 2014, and you're listening to show number 211. Hello, Mike Jones. Just joined us in the chat in the studio.
Hello, Gary.
How you doing? Good?
Oh, pretty good.
All right. Remember, no one is more committed to the businesses and residents than GC Community Chat. If you'd like to promote your business or organization or just give a shout out to your community, then GC Community Chat is here for you. We are all about promoting our community and yours. All right, let me introduce my co-hosts for tonight, our favorite county commissioner, Mr. Richard LeBlanc. Richard, welcome back.
Our only county commissioner, hence the favorite.
Yes, yes.
Great to be here.
All right. Also, our favorite resident weatherman, Dr. Tom Iwinski. Tom, how you doing? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you guys doing? I'm doing all right.
Good, good. We also have joining us in studio former councilman, Mr. Mike Jones. Mike, welcome once again.
Thank you, Gary. It's good to be here
All right.
with my favorite county commissioner. I trust he won.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did, big time. Well, we have another really good show for you tonight from the Alzheimer Association. Miss Theresa Russo will be here to answer a few questions about this very complicated and well-documented disease. Joey and Holly will have their gardening in 2 minutes segment, and a little bit later we'll be discussing Tuesday's election results and some of the drama that come along with that with Richard and Mike. All this and much more, but first, let's get a check of the weather with Doppler Tom. Let's do that, all right?
Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Yeah, some nice weather.
Nice.
What's up?
Nice.
Here in the week, but now it's really starting to a nice pattern. It's a little bit warmer as well. For the rest of tonight, we're going to see overall clearing skies out there, and temperatures will stay in the lower 60s. And then as we get to tomorrow, it's going to be a similar setup where it'll be sunny in the morning, and we'll see some clouds building throughout the day, but those clouds aren't going to have rain in them. They're just going to be fair weather cumulus clouds, and temperatures will get 80. So a very nice day out there, and that will continue into the weekend as well. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 80s with a lot of sunshine, some afternoon clouds, but no rain. So if you have any outdoor plans, it's going to be a good weekend for that. And then as we get into next week, the only day that I see rain is on Tuesday, but it's not going to be an all-day rain. It's probably going to be an on and off rain. And temperatures next week overall are going to be a little bit cooler, but not by much, probably lower 80s and upper 70s as we get later in the week. Still a little bit below average for the time of year, but overall next week is going to be pretty nice except for Tuesday. Other than that, mix of clouds and sun of all next week. So if you have any outdoor plans, it should be good. And quickly going into the cool pattern, I have the latest stats for up until July 31st out of the National Weather Service for our area. The average temperature for this year up to date is 45.2 degrees. That's the average temperature, which very chilly if you think about it. It's about 4 degrees below normal, and it's our 15th coolest year ever on record. So it's definitely been a cool year on tap for definitely this summer, and the pattern isn't really shifting into more of a summer pattern. We're going to see some warmer weather, but not any hot weather, because this trough is still staying over much of Canada and ridges on both sides. And I know I'm getting a little technical in the weather department, but that just basically means this pattern's going to be stuck here for a little bit. And we're seeing some changes in the weather pattern because a new update came out about El Nino, which is going to have a big impact on our winter. And it's saying that it's less likely to be a very strong El Nino. Earlier in the year, it was thinking that it will be a pretty big El Nino as we get to winter. But now they're starting to think it's not going to be as rough of an El Nino. It might be a weak El Nino, but it's not going to be as strong. Basically, what that means for us here in Michigan is that it may not be the winter that we thought we were going to get earlier in the year. And earlier in the year, I thought we may have missed a bad winter. We might see an average winter. So that means it'll probably be cold and probably be snowy. But it's not going to be as
like
we
last
might
year.
not be as bad. So that's some good And switching gears from wrapping up the weather segment with the big weather stories ongoing right now, you don't want to be in Hawaii right now. You probably heard this on the news.
Yes, I do.
We're dealing with very rare weather events right now. A hurricane is approaching the Big Island of Hawaii, and it's going to affect the Hawaiian Islands overnight into all day tomorrow, affecting all the islands. But Kilo and the Big Island of Hawaii are going to see a direct hit from this hurricane, which is very rare. That has never happened in recorded history. This is the first time a hurricane has affected directly the Hawaiian Islands in over 22 years. The last time was Hurricane Iniki, but that was a long time ago. And so this is a pretty rare event out there. They're really doing a lot of preparation out there, and they're going to see a lot of problems, I think, because the elevation on the Hawaiian Islands with all the volcanoes is definitely going to squeeze out a lot of rain because of the orographic lift going on in the mountains. They're going to see a lot of waves. They're going to see a lot of wind because they haven't really seen a hurricane in a long time. So they definitely need to hunker down because I do expect there's going to be a lot of problems out there overnight tomorrow. But the good news is it's going to be a fast mover, and the hurricane behind that one, Julio, I don't really think it's going to affect the Hawaiian Islands too much. They're probably going to see some rain and some waves, but that one is expected to weaken and go north of the island. So that's some good news. But other than that, the tropics in the Atlantic side of by the United States is actually continuing to be very quiet. We're not expecting any hurricane affecting the lower 48, so that's some good news. And they're continuing to think that it's going to be a below-average season for us, so that's great news. But the Pacific is staying very, very busy right now, and more typhoons are heading toward Japan as well. So very busy Pacific out there. But switching gears back to our local weather, if you want to keep tuned to any of this local weather information, just go to my website, weather.com.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, Hawaii's going to get hammered. It's been like 22 years or something, huh, since they had a hurricane.
Yeah, it's the first time ever that the Big Island is going to get a direct hit. That's never happened before. So very rare weather.
Mike, you've been there, right? You've been there several times.
Yeah, we're going back in December, so hope they get it all cleaned up. We're going to be on a Big Island for a week and on Maui for another.
Oh, wow. Yeah, hopefully they'll have that all cleaned up for you. All right, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. All right, now, if you want to join the conversation tonight, maybe have a question or comment for any of us here, just head on over to TalkShoe.com and search for show ID 82757. That takes you right to our main show page. Once you're there, just click on the large Join Now button and you'll sign in as a guest or create a free account, and that will take you right to our chat room where you can listen in and type your questions and comments at the bottom of the page. You'll also find our phone number and show ID there as well. Now, if you do want to call in tonight, the number is 1-724-444-7444, and you'll enter the call ID 82757 followed by the pound sign when you're prompted. Now, some of you may have to call in more than once due to the heavy traffic, and we do apologize in advance. Keep trying, and we hope to talk to you soon. You can always text your questions and comments to us here at 734-788-9319. We are also doing a video recording of tonight's show, so you can put a face with the voice, and that video will be available later on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/communitychatshow. All right, now that you have your latest weather report, you'll probably want to get out in your gardens this weekend. So with some more gardening tips, here's Joey and Holly in Gardening in 2 Minutes, and then we'll introduce our guest, Theresa Russo.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes. Though it is the middle of summer, it is a great opportunity to go to your garden, whether you have a traditional ground garden, containers, or raised beds, and look at your plants. Your plants will tell you a lot about what's going on beneath the surface in your soil.
Your soil could be lacking some nutrients, and this includes things like major nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. When you're looking at a bag of fertilizer, this is the NPK. Then there's secondary nutrients, and there's trace minerals. When it comes to the main nutrients, things such as nitrogen, if you're lacking that, you'll see light green leaves and stunted growth. If you're not seeing a good plants are lacking phosphorus, this includes things like smaller yields of seeds and fruits, and then purplish leaves, stems, and branches. And again, when you're lacking potassium, this includes reduced yields, spotted or curled leaves, and a weak root system. Now, we found this information at dollarseed.com, and there's a tab that says Garden Soil Nutrition.
This is a great resource that you can go and find what your plants are acting like, as well as the solution to the problem that your soil may be lacking for the main nutrients, the NPKs, as well as the secondary nutrients. And then the trace minerals are those that you hear about in the glacial rock dust that you can purchase for an extended price at some local garden centers, and sometimes it's a specialty item you have to order online. But you want to look at your main nutrients and your secondary nutrients. By having those, you're going to have very healthy plants in your garden. For more information about soil nutrients, our weekly video productions, as well as our digital quarterly downloadable free magazine, you can find all that information at
theWisconsinVegetableGardener.com.
For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joey Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you next week. All right. I just want to mention real quick before we get to Theresa, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., if you own a business in Garden City, we'd like you to come and join us at the Garden City Business Card Swap at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Guardian Marshall Arts and Fitness Center. It's 30942 Ford Road. And because we don't have a chamber, we're just trying to get the businesses together and maybe do a think tank and see what's, what we can do to move our business community forward. So if you can come on out, there's going to be free coffee, Richard. And
Someone say free?
Maybe I'll bring donuts. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So if you can RSVP, it's appreciated, but it's not required. The phone number is 734-266-0565. I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout from the way it looks. So head on over there, bring plenty of business cards, and get ready to do a meet and greet, okay? Look forward to seeing you. All right, let's introduce our guest for tonight. She is from the Alzheimer Association. Cheryl and I actually had the pleasure of meeting her at a seminar she did in Westland not too long ago, and we are happy she accepted our invitation to come on the show tonight. Miss Theresa Russo, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay! So, Theresa, let's get a little background on you for our listeners. How long have you been doing this with the association, and what made you choose this career path?
Sure, I've been with the agency for about 2 years now, a little more. And what really spurred me to get into this field was the fact that my grandmother has a diagnosis of dementia. She doesn't have Alzheimer's disease, but she has a rare type of dementia called normal pressure hydrocephalus.
Okay.
Yeah, she was diagnosed in 2010, and just seeing her journey with it and how it's impacted my family has really encouraged me to get in the field.
Well, that's good. That's good. Is she doing okay? I mean,
She, with her type of dementia, it progressed really quickly.
Okay.
So she's pretty impaired. She's living in a long-term care facility right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get some basic questions here. First, can you explain what is Alzheimer's disease?
Sure. And often I get the question, what's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's?
Right.
Sometimes
That'll be
people-
my next question. What's
Right.
dementia?
Oh, yeah.
A
sometimes
2 for 1.
people
A 2
use
for-
them interchangeably. But the way I describe it, I think the best way to understand the difference is to imagine a really big umbrella. And on
Okay.
that umbrella is written the word dementia, indicating it's an umbrella term. There's many different diseases that fall beneath that.
Okay.
So just like there's many types of cancer, there's many types of dementia. Alzheimer's is just one type of
That's a good
dementia.
way to-
know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alzheimer's is
Sure. It's a progressive disease of the brain, so it means that it worsens over time. Currently, there are more than 5 million Americans living with the diagnosis.
wow.
About every 67 seconds, somebody in our nation develops the disease. It's the 6th leading cause of death in our country, and it's the only cause of death among the top 10 that cannot be prevented, cured, or even slowed. So clearly, it's a very ubiquitous problem, not an uncommon disease by any stretch.
So then dementia eventually will turn into Alzheimer's.
Well,
Is that
that's
how it
not
goes?
actually accurate.
No?
It's a type of dementia. So
Okay.
just like bone cancer, the whole duration of the disease, it's cancer, but more specifically, it's bone cancer.
Okay, because I think that's where a lot of people get confused. They think, that they're both the same, really.
That's a common misconception. Many people will think that they'll think dementia is more mild than Alzheimer's disease, or it's the early stage of the disease, but really the whole duration of the disease, it's a type of dementia.
Okay, I got you. So who's most affected by this disease? I mean, anybody can really get it because there's early onset Alzheimer's too, that I know.
That's true, yeah, and we say at the association that everyone is impacted by this disease because we all are at risk. We all have brains. We all could potentially go on to develop it. But really the people that are at the highest risk are the elderly. Most people are 65 or older when they receive a diagnosis. However, there's about 200,000 Americans living with younger onset dementia. So people may be in their 50s, 40s, or even younger living with dementia.
Yeah, well, I know Kevin, I can't remember, I apologize, I can't remember his last name, but he was like 40, I think, when he had Alzheimer's.
Kevin.
Kevin, I can't remember his name.
How do we know?
He was on our show, he wasn't, but his family was on, and Jack Lampy, I don't know if you know Jack Lampy, he was a good friend of Kevin's. And, I mean, it was very sad. It came on real quick, and he went real quick.
It's so sad because they may still be involved in their careers or
Right.
raising
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
At that,
Yeah, you
that
had
point in
young
their life.
kids, yeah, right. And then, of course, with the baby boomers, right, I mean, it's probably...
Yeah, that's one reason we think the numbers are increasing because we've seen unprecedented numbers, but we know the baby boomer generation is aging. People are living longer. We're getting better at preventing other chronic diseases, but not Alzheimer's disease at this point.
So do they know what really causes Alzheimer's, and what are some of the symptoms?
Sure. The answer right now is that we're not too sure why some folks get the disease and others don't. We know that age is the primary risk factor, that the older we get, the higher our risk. Women also tend to get the disease more than men, but the reason is not too clear. We think that because the elderly population is predominantly female, that may be a reason
Okay,
why
yeah.
more females get
Right.
the disease.
Yeah.
But some early signs of the disease, they can vary depending on the type of dementia, but memory loss is often an early indicator, especially with short-term memory, and when people are repeating questions or forgetting recently learned information. But we always recommend seeing a physician to do a thorough assessment because memory loss could be present, but perhaps it's caused by a treatable condition or a medication side effect that can be corrected.
So the typical person, I mean, they forget where they left their keys or something. I mean, it doesn't mean that they have Alzheimer's. I mean, right?
That's so true. Yeah, if I would be in trouble if that was the case. I always forget my keys and lose them. But one thing we say, definitely the repetitive questioning, the repetition. But we also say for people who maybe misplace things, but then lose the ability to retrace their steps because they're not encoding the short term.
That's a real flag if you can't retrace your steps back.
Definitely.
So is it hereditary?
Well, that's sort of yes and no. There's a very rare strain of the younger onset dementia that we do know is passed down from one generation to the next. However, that affects maybe less than 1% of cases, and families usually are well aware of their history with the disease. If that's the case, because many people in multiple generations would have had to been diagnosed. But more often with the late onset disease, we think that genetics may play a role. There are some genes that have been implicated in the disease and are under some scrutiny, but we think it may have more to do with lifestyle factors like physical activity, diet, which can be inherited from generation to generation for sure.
Right. So they say to try and do like a lot of crossword puzzles and keep your mind at. I mean, does that help? Is it true?
Well, yes and no. And I used to work at a cognitive neuroscience of aging lab, and the principal investigator there, a lot of people would ask him,
your mind.
yeah, they'd be like, is Sudoku going to help me? And he said, sure, you can do Sudoku if you're walking on a treadmill for 30 minutes. Then it's going to be beneficial. Because he was betting on the physical activity. He's like, if you're going to do anything, it really should be getting physically active. And there's a lot of compelling research that does support that the better our heart is, the more healthy our heart is, the healthier our brain tends to be as well.
So how is it diagnosed? Is there a test for this that someone, I mean, can you get a test, or how would you go about, if somebody thinks they have it, early onset or something, what do they do?
Definitely, and that's where there's such a gray area, because there's no single test or even a combination of tests that will show definitively if this person has the disease or not. It's
But
really
definitely
a game.
neurologist.
For sure, yeah. And what they'll do in that case, they'll administer many tests, but they'll rule out other causes. And after ruling out everything else, then they can come to the conclusion, oh, it must be Alzheimer's disease, or it must be something else.
It's such a puzzling disease.
It really is.
That's what I know. So we know there is actually no cure. So what's the best treatment? What do they do?
Sure, and that's the benefit for early detection and early diagnosis, is that you have the opportunities to take advantage of treatment options, even though there is no cure. But there are some FDA-approved medications that a person might be prescribed.
Right.
Those include like Aricept, Exelon, Razidine, Namenda.
They're seeing a lot of success with that.
They are, and it varies very much from person to person. Some people don't notice as significant an effect, and for other folks it's very helpful. So it really depends on the person, and it won't cure the person. It won't help them to regain functioning they've lost, but it might help them to remain independent longer than they would have otherwise.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if dementia is the label on top of the umbrella, how many subcategories of dementia?
Oh, yeah.
How many, like, there's Alzheimer's. Are there like 50 more?
Is it a big umbrella?
Yeah, that's a good question, because really there's maybe 60 or 70 plus.
Oh, you're kidding.
Well,
True, yeah. And
what
they're
might
all
we recognize?
frontotemporal dementias, maybe a more
don't
common.
recognize it.
No.
Lewy body dementia. Sometimes Parkinson's disease goes
Oh,
on to
okay,
develop a
okay.
dementia component. Same thing with HIV. Sometimes the person might go on to develop dementia.
Interesting.
But most of them are quite rare, which is why you may not recognize them. I don't know if you, I know the NFL has been looking a lot at something
Yes.
called chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yes.
That's its own kind of
Well,
dementia
that's
too.
concussions then.
Right,
probably.
yeah, it's a dementia caused by concussions. Yeah.
Very interesting.
So Alzheimer's is the most prevalent, or
That's
largest
exactly right.
category.
Yeah, it is the most prevalent. It accounts for about 60 to 70% of cases. So by far and large, it's the most common.
So I know a person since deceased, but I remember when they began having trouble with a number of things, and then received that diagnosis. That was very difficult.
Yeah, it's devastating.
Yeah, it is.
It was a lot of frustration, a lot of just maybe disappointment that there really wasn't anything that they could do, at least at that time. This has been a few years anyway. Nothing that they could pinpoint, as you indicated, that, okay, we can fix this, or at least we can stall it, at least not for him. It was sad.
It's
It
so
is.
devastating, because we have certain expectations of how our life might go, and we don't anticipate that usually.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's tough. It is. I mean, my mother-in-law's got dementia, and it's tough. Yeah. It is. So, Mike, any questions?
No, I just,
You're the science guy.
like Richard, I can relate some personal experience, because my mother just passed on Easter Sunday at the age of 92, and she was going downhill significantly the last couple of years, and every time we tried to visit her about once a month because she was on the western side of the state. And every time we visited, you go through the same short-term memory issues. Here we are with my daughter Kathy and my 2 grandkids, Samuel and Jessica. And, well, what grade are you in? How old are you? She'd ask that question 3 or 4 times in an hour.
Yeah.
The same question.
And when they don't recognize the grandkids and that's tough too.
Yeah, well, she did, I think, recognize them, but she certainly didn't have any good memory of their relationship. On the other hand, she could have told you stuff that happened when I was a kid. Just clear as a bell.
That is odd, isn't it? Because my mother-in-law
Yeah.
does that. She can't remember like what she did an hour ago, but she can remember like something that happened back in the 40s.
And it's so funny, but that's really classic Alzheimer's disease, for example,
Wow.
where they have impairment in short-term memory, but long-term memory is preserved much longer, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really, really a bizarre disease.
Yeah,
My-
definitely.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My other question is, what do you recommend for? I'm gonna use the term caregiver. but
Oh, yeah,
other
I was
family
just gonna
members
ask that. Yep, good
that are in the
question.
household, because
That's
I'm
tough
also
on them.
reminded of some folks that I knew from Gardens. Well, they were from Westland and moved to Garden City briefly, and they were both elderly. I remember the husband, saying, he said, we've been married like 70 years. They were old. He says, and he kind of laughed about it a little bit. He said, it's just the way it is. She thinks I'm trying to hurt her and stuff like that. And of course I wouldn't.
Right.
But he had no training. And he
Yeah.
really had nothing to draw from.
It's very hard for the caregivers.
Oh,
it
it's
really,
very
really is. The
hard.
family.
If you
Where do they? Yeah.
If you
Where do
don't
they
have
get
a
support?
Care
Definitely.
facility. Your grandmother's in a care facility. You mentioned.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that as an option.
Right.
Yeah, and that's so true. That's a really well documented problem, is that caregiving is really stressful. It's really hard to do, and it's a specialized area of knowledge that not everyone knows how to interact with someone with dementia or how to provide care. So I would say for those folks, I think education is really key, and that might help make the caregiving a lot easier. So even contacting our association, calling our helpline, finding what education programs are there. We actually have a really good 6-week program called Creating Confident Caregivers, and it's all about providing caregivers with the skill, knowledge, attitude that they need, because the premise is that caregivers it's not an intuitive skill necessarily. We might love them, that's intuitive, but how to provide the care, the nuances of that, we have to learn it. That's acquired knowledge. So that tries to fill in the gaps.
And is this something that occurs regularly, and is there a cost? If somebody's listening to the show and said, I kind of fit that category,
Yeah.
Definitely.
is this something that you folks schedule once a quarter, or how does that work?
We have a few education programs each month. There's no cost to attend. The
everything's free.
CCC
Yeah,
or
that's what's
Creating
really
Confident
cool.
Caregivers, that's free.
Yeah.
And that's actually, we're contracted to offer the program, but that's provided by the Area Agency on Aging. So
Okay.
if folks can reach out to that organization. They provide the
Okay.
Meals on Wheels. They have
Yep.
many good services and supports for caregivers too.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. It's so hard on caregivers, I know, because they need the break, if they just like hospice, they'll come in and they'll give the caregiver a break and just tell them to go out, and
Yeah.
try and, relax or do something. What can the caregiver do to do that, to get that break?
Oh, for sure. And sometimes that caregiver is the person that does it all. They're so invested
Yeah.
in caring for the other person,
Right.
they forget about their own needs.
That's it, exactly.
Definitely. And research even supports that the health of the caregiver is sometimes more precarious than the person with dementia. They have a high risk for physical health problems,
Yep.
mental health problems. So we recommend, sometimes that's a skill too, learning to ask for help or accept offers of help.
Right.
And asking people strategically. If they say, if you need anything, I'm here, then following up with that by saying, how about you come over on Tuesday from 2 to 3 and I'll go out and do something while you can sit with Joe, for example, and really be specific.
Yeah, and you really need the whole family involved in that. It's just, if there's brothers and
You
sisters, they
do.
all need to pitch in.
Definitely. Yeah,
'Cause,
community members, friends,
yeah,
family,
yeah.
even children, for example.
And sometimes they can get violent, these patients. They can get violent.
Definitely. And one reason we see that, in many cases, violence might be a reaction to pain. The person might be experiencing some pain, and they lose the ability to use language or articulate how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So they might scream or shout or yell at or hit the person next to them because they're feeling pain or some type of unmet need. Maybe they need to use the restroom or they're hungry, but they're acting out that way because they can't communicate with words oftentimes.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, I know. It's a tough disease.
Definitely.
All right, well, I know that you guys, you have a lot of events planned, and a big one coming up is your Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Oh, for sure.
You want to talk about that a little bit and how
I'd
people
love
can get
to.
involved
And that's
what
a
they
great thing to get involved in, because as we're talking about this topic, sometimes we feel like there's not enough that we can do or we want to do more. This is a great thing to get involved in for that reason. It's one of the biggest fundraising events for Alzheimer's disease in the country. It's taking place Saturday, August 23rd at Ford Field.
Oh, yeah.
And if you are interested in signing up, you can contact our helpline number that's available 24/7. That number is 1-800-272-3900. Or you can visit our chapter's website at www.alz.org/GMC as in Greater Michigan Chapter. And there are hundreds of walkers out on that day. The finish line is on Ford Field, so you can set foot on Ford Field. And it's a really cool
And I think
event.
people can just go to the website and make a donation even, right?
Yeah, maybe people aren't available that day or it's not really their thing. You can donate without actually being present that day. You can join a team. You can start your own team. There's a lot of flexibility.
That's great. Awesome. Never enough money for that disease.
Yeah, it's really
study.
underfunded when
Yeah.
we compare it to other chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease.
Right.
It does not get the same amount of funding.
Any other events you want to mention, or any other things you want to?
I would say if folks
talk
are
about?
interested in any of our education programs.
Oh yeah, your
or-
seminars. You have some of them coming up.
Yeah,
What do
we
you got?
certainly do. I would direct folks to our helpline number as
Okay,
well. And
okay.
we do
Get a schedule.
Yeah, keep an eye out. Stay tuned because we do have our fall conference coming up in November. That'll take place in Livonia.
Okay.
It's welcome for professionals and family caregivers as well. So keep an eye
Cool.
out for that.
Very good. Well, you did a great job tonight.
Oh,
You're
thank
a great
you.
talker. Isn't she great? Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very, very
It's
educated
an
on
important
this.
topic for
It
sure.
is. It really is. And good luck with everything. And any other questions? Why we got her here?
Thank you for what you do.
Yes,
thank you.
exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. And good luck with your grandma and
Thank you.
in your career. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, I hope so.
All
Am
right.
I all set then?
Yeah, you're fine. You can leave or
All
you
right.
can stick around. You'll have to, let yourself out. Is that
Oh,
okay?
that's not a problem.
All right. Thanks,
Well,
Theresa.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming. Take care.
You too.
All right. Great job. I think we educated a lot of people on it.
I think so.
Educated me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there was a lot of stuff there I didn't know about. That's a big umbrella. 60-some different. Are you kidding?
Didn't know it either.
No.
I totally didn't know it.
No, not at all. All you hear is Alzheimer's and dementia. That's all I ever hear.
Right.
But yeah, even Parkinson's, that makes sense, That could be in the concussions with the NFL and that. Okay, before we get to Richard and the election news, I wanted to mention the Straight Farmhouse. I got to get that info out because Mike Lawrence, he'll let me know about it if I don't. I know, Mike, you're probably listening too. The outdoor flea market at the Straight Farmhouse located at 6221 Merriman Road. Only $15 for a 10 by 10 space. And I believe they have, this weekend, August 9th, they're having it. And then again, August 16th. So it's the second and third Saturday of the month through September. So head on out there. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. If it rains, they will cancel it. But I think the weather's going to be good this weekend. So head on over to the Straight Farmhouse. Also, let me mention that the Guardian Martial Arts is having their Community Appreciation Day. That is Saturday, August the 9th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're going to have free roasted hot dogs, free kids self-defense class at 11, also free fingerprint kit for the first 20 kids, free American Kempo class, and once again, that's located at 30942 Ford Road, and the phone number is 734-266-0500. 888-888-6565 for more information. Community Appreciation Day. So check that out. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, the Ice Cream Social is coming up, Richard. Remember First United Methodist Church? I think you sold a home. Your wife sold a home there.
No,
last year.
her husband did.
Her husband and the host of GC Community Chat did.
Right.
Yeah, the Ice Cream Social is going to be held once again at the First United Methodist Church on August 13th. And I believe that's David's birthday, too, by the way. At
Well, then you can buy.
Yeah, at 6 p.m. And the Big Band Express is going to play starting at 6:30. And they ask for a $5 donation, which goes towards their food pantry. If you can do that, they would appreciate it. And the church is located at 6443 Merriman Road at Maple Road in Garden City. August 13th.
Maplewood.
Maplewood, sorry. What did I say, Maple Road? Not even close. Okay, Maplewood, you got me. All right, August 13th, 6 p.m. Don't forget, be there or be square. Yeah. All right, the next council meeting is Monday, August the 11th, 7 p.m. at City Hall, 6000 Middle Belt Road. All right, let's get to Richard now. Primary day was Tuesday. Any big surprises, Richard?
No, I won't say that there were any big surprises. There was a little bit of disappointment for some folks, depending on how they chose to vote.
Yeah.
But, I guess I'd start with what not being disrespectful to anybody, but the biggest race in Wayne County, of course, was for county executive.
Right.
And former sheriff, former Detroit Police Chief Warren Evans
Yep.
was soundly passed through the primary election to the November election, and let's face it, in Wayne County, the Democratic nomination will serve as being elected.
Yeah.
It just will.
Absolutely.
And that's not intended to be dismissive of the Republican candidate that also made it through, but it's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
So January 1st, the county will have a new executive.
I think Mayor Wild did a respectable job, though.
I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, coming in second,
especially when you consider that he was coming from
the
Westland
suburbs.
base.
Yes.
Right.
And his
Right.
challenger was known throughout the county. and
Had already been
countywide-
elected.
Exactly.
countywide
At the county.
elections.
He
Yeah.
did a
Nobody-
very, very good job.
He sure did, and I'll point out too, because I attended his party.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl and I left there a little bit after, about 12:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Results were still not in, but what we did have at that point was a number of the individual communities within Wayne County had reported their results.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit had not yet, but within the individual communities, overwhelmingly, Mayor Wild
Yeah.
was either first place in the majority of them or closely behind in second in just a handful of them. And it was the city of Detroit that primarily tipped the balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, you certainly can't take away. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take anything away from
No.
the candidacy. It was.
And I
very
believe
respectable.
Kavanaugh was third, if I'm not mistaken. He came in third, a distant
Yes.
third.
Yes, he came in third. Mr. McNamara came in fourth, and County Executive Ficano came in fifth. And folks were saying, look, this is the top five out of the candidates that there were.
Right.
But there were other elections too.
Oh, yeah, our good friend, David Knisik.
Yeah,
Gonna be
Senator-elect David Knisik, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
There is a Republican opponent, but it is a very Democratic stronghold,
Seat, yeah.
and it will be electing a Democrat to it in November. Yeah, and that was a convincing and decisive victory as well. A couple thousand votes.
Well, here's the thing. I have the numbers here. David got, he got 29% of the vote, okay, with 7,200 roughly. Chenille Jackson got 25% with 6,200.
Right.
Now, here's a woman with her record, her voting record, and then they give her 6,200 votes. Are you kidding me? Reward her with that? I mean, that's shocking.
There's
Shocking.
a lot of dynamic at play amongst them. That one of the things that she campaigned on, and obviously it resound, with some people, was that she is an African American female.
Yeah.
And in the state Senate, that's something that's absent.
And she was definitely pushing that.
Yeah, so, her campaign was effective. It could not overcome Mr. Knizik's campaign, but
No.
let's face it, there was something there.
But
And
for not
Detroit-
doing your job, be rewarded with 25% of the vote? Come on. That just really bothers me.
How many terms can the state senators serve?
2.
So they got 8 years.
Yes.
2 4-year.
That's correct. Yeah, and the interesting thing about all of this is that most of the candidates for election in that race
Yeah.
are young.
Yes.
Chanel's young,
Yeah.
David's young.
David Nathan?
David Nathan is young.
Yeah, he came in third, by the way, 22%.
So, Tommy, and I've known Tommy Stallworth a long time. Tommy's older.
Stallworth, yep,
but,
17%.
There's still, with term limits, there's still opportunities for
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
other people to become elected at different times.
Yeah.
This time, 2014.
But hey,
the
a big,
person that we supported came in first.
big congratulations to David Knisik for sure.
And he's definitely got to have hands up on 2018 as the incumbent.
Incumbency is very valuable in an election if you do your job, and he does, and he will.
Yeah, it didn't work in Ficano's place, but
Well, he wasn't doing his job.
exactly, that's
Well,
what we're
and,
saying.
sometimes, he'd been there 12 years, and I'm going
The
to
writing was on the
say,
wall.
I've also known Bob a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be our assistant city attorney in the city of Westland.
He was a hell of a sheriff, too. I liked him as a sheriff.
He's done a lot of things involving public service in Wayne County, not to be, disregarded. But
Right.
it was time, the electorate felt it was time for a change, and they're getting one.
Yep, I agree.
I think he was even a decent county executive early on. But he had a lot of things to deal with the last few years.
There were a number of challenges.
Yes.
And okay.
Representative-elect Julie Polwecki.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
There
let's
you go.
move on to
Okay,
that. Yeah, the 11th District State Rep. Julie got 31%, very convincing. Rashid Beydoun, 18% second. And Hillard Hampton, third, with 17%. Very, very interesting. Very interesting.
That's another race that had a number of qualified candidates, and there were a lot of people.
Took forever to find out who won. My God.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the drama, let's talk about the drama in Dearborn Heights a little bit there. That's what I mentioned. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, since I wasn't actively involved,
Right.
in the community, I really can't speak with authority regarding some of it. But
Well, what we do
learned,
know, right.
Was that there were some allegations involving voter fraud or some other illegal act involving voter registration.
Right.
And the Dearborn Heights city clerk resigned over some of this stuff for reasons that he
Yep.
shared in a letter. Then he tried to unresign, and then made a statement to some other elected officials at the state level, state and county level. And at the end of all of it, with Representative Nathan having asked for an injunction of sorts to
Twice.
not allow for the counting of absentee ballots in Dearborn Heights, my understanding is that yesterday, Judge Colombo, yesterday, Wednesday, Judge Colombo said, no,
Threw it out.
there's no evidence of any of that.
Right.
And, so
I think that was the
dismissed
only
it.
thing that held up getting the results on that. I mean, I knew David was ahead on Tuesday,
Yeah.
but
Well-
you couldn't get a decent report.
No, you couldn't. Yeah, that
On
was
TV
really
or the
aggravating, too.
newspapers?
It was very aggravating.
And I figured it was being held up because of the 9 o'clock appointment in the judge's
And
chamber.
even on Facebook. Well, yeah, it was 9 a.m. he was supposed to be in court,
But,
Wednesday morning.
That's the right and privilege that we have as
Oh, I know. But it was
citizens,
twice.
so
It was twice that
it
he did it.
happened. And fortunately, the judge saw it the same way as folks in Senator like Knizik's
And then come to find out he
candidate.
didn't, even without the absentee votes, he would have won anyway, so.
Yeah. But everyone wants their vote counted.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was
Absolutely.
good that the judge made a declaration.
They had a state monitor there. I guess there was
It was a lot
some,
closer than I thought it would be.
And as we've already acknowledged, there were other candidacies at play here.
yeah,
This was not just about the state senate.
right.
We had other folks that were in elections
Yeah.
that included the city of Dearborn Heights that were interested in these results.
Yep.
So we're past that. Statewide, there were very few surprises.
Oh, well, let me just say, I can say proudly that Garden City, 77% for
Is
David
that what it
Knisik.
ended up being?
77%.
You know,
Very good.
I think communities recognize when they have a politician in their
Well,
corner.
they've adopted that guy. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, they
Right.
really have.
Right.
Just like you. I mean, you're
But-
very, very well liked
But
in Garden
it's
City.
true, you know, if you're doing what's not only
Visible.
expected, but maybe a little bit beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
and folks often see us together because we
Yep.
share communities, and yeah, so the service that folks have received for the past not quite 2 years, both out of David Kniezek and myself, is going to continue into our next,
Yep. Yep.
term of office. So
Right. I don't see any changes.
yeah, and statewide again, as I was saying, there were just a couple of elections that really were not expected, but for the most part, everything pretty much turned out as the pundits expected that they would, including the passage of 90 some odd % of millage requests across the entire state.
Yeah.
Nearly 100%. That is phenomenal. And the only big, if I can call it that, question that failed was the Wayne County RISA request.
RISA. Yep.
And that was
Yep.
5149.
Yep.
That was 5149.
People
It
are
took a lot-
tapped out, Richard. They're just tapped out. I think it was too much. I think it was too much they were asking.
Yeah.
I do.
Well,
There's also the situation where that money was going to be distributed equally per person, but it wasn't going to be paid for equally because I'll call them the wealthier districts, were going to be contributing more to it,
Yeah.
and the poorer districts were going to be receiving more.
Well,
And so some people were just voting their own
I think it's
special
time to-
interest and said, hey, we're in, for example, Northville. We're doing great. Our kids are getting enough money. We don't want to share some of that money with somebody else and have that hurt us. People in Garden City are saying, we're always getting short shifted. We get less money than our citizens put in back and less money per student. And this is just an attempt to equalize how much money per student is paid. And
well, the fact is, though, the state can equalize it anytime they want.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I think it's
And
time the state steps
so,
up and fixes it.
As
waiting
someone,
for some results
Well-
out of Lansing.
Well-
negative,
Good luck.
but as someone who does not believe in the redistribution of wealth,
Yeah.
I don't believe that we should have everybody put the same amount of money into a pot and then distribute it to those who need it more necessarily. I just don't agree
Right.
with that.
Right. I don't either.
And the state is the one that is responsible for the funding of public
There you go.
education.
There you
the
go.
state has the ability to do a lot of things.
Exactly.
And if the state would wish for there to be an overhaul, such as happened in the early 1990s with Proposal A, the state can get that put on the ballot.
Yes, they can.
So,
It's time they go to Lansing, do their job, and, hey, put the parties aside and let's fix it.
yeah, some of the stuff that's happened with a different type of redistribution, and that is to take it away from taxpayers and give it to corporations, that didn't set well with a lot of people.
No.
And it's the same thing. And I think that there's going to have to be, at some point, hopefully in the near future, there's going to have to be a real conversation about an at-large tax revision.
Yep. I
You
see
have
that
property
coming.
tax, you have gas tax, you have a number of different taxes.
Well, no
that-
more personal property tax. Proposal one.
But you know what? The money's going
Let's
to come
talk
from
about that.
somewhere
Yeah.
because personal property tax,
Exactly.
filters to local communities, and
Where are they going to make up that money now?
it's called the general fund, and it's the
And who's the
same
general
place,
fund?
the same place that provides tax incentives, for example. It's
Well-
the same place that pays for Medicaid. It's the same place that pays community revenue sharing and county revenue sharing. It's a place that today really doesn't deserve to have another $550 million taken from it.
Well, they claim they're going to create 15,000 new jobs, so let's see how that
Well,
pans out
the key
and what
is,
kind of
though,
paying jobs.
up to. So
Yeah.
if it creates 10 jobs, that's fine. But It's as I've said to other folks, and I'm not going to get entirely on the horse on this, but
No, I mean, I know where you
this
stand in a
benefits
minute.
this benefits business, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And I do actually like that part of it, but to suggest that I'm just going to take a number. Let's say 1,000 small business,
Yeah.
each save $500, or make it 1,000, make it 5,000. If they each save that much money, none of them are going to hire another person. None of them. Collectively, it's $550 million that's going to be shifted. But individually, it's just not enough for small business to hire anybody. It's
And we
just
were
not.
hearing that small business has, what is it, $80,000 exemption anyway?
Yeah, they have an exemption
So-
going in. And
So
look,
who's going to
this-
really benefit
big
from this?
business.
Yes,
Corporations,
absolutely.
But you can't sell it that way. And
Well-
if you look at the funding sources, major corporations that we would recognize in the Detroit area as being big employers contributed millions of dollars to this campaign. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Because it will benefit them. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's going to.
It's a horrible tax.
It is.
The personal
It
property
is.
tax
It
is a
is.
horrible tax.
It is, but
But it was what was, to a large degree, sustaining some communities.
I
And
think-
it's going to be tough. Give it a few years, and if things start to become strained, communities are going to.
then you and I can say, told you so.
And I hope that
and
never
Mike,
happens.
I know, I hope
hope
it.
the others
I
say
do
in
too.
10 years.
Yeah.
you
Well,
two
I
were
hope they
wrong.
create 20,000 new jobs. But,
Right.
I don't know. Like you said, time will tell. We'll see. Hey, our good friend, and who was on the show not too long ago, Congressman Conyers won big,
He sure did.
74%. And Sheffield got 26. I was a little bit surprised Sheffield won Garden City.
You know what?
That surprised me a little bit.
He had a good candidacy.
He had a town hall meeting here.
I've heard him speak at a number of locations, and there was a good message there. But again, an incumbent has a significant advantage in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And cannot be underestimated. And nobody does, really, in my opinion, underestimate it. And so the congressman who will, on January 1st, become the dean of the Congress,
Yep.
he prevailed. I would say this. I don't know this to be true, but I'll bet it is. 24% or 26%, whatever it was that Reverend Sheffield secured, that was probably the highest number against Mr. Conyers in a long time.
26%.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll bet that's
that's pretty-
really up there in terms of challenging an incumbent.
Yeah, probably.
And so not
Yeah.
different than Mayor Wild to a degree. You know, you're going against a bigger
Big
machine.
dog. Big dog.
And
Well-
I heard nothing bad about Mr. Sheffield's candidacy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Debbie Dingle, big.
yes.
The wife of the former dean.
And I know Debbie, and I'll tell you what,
Powerful lady, man. Powerful.
John Dingle, obviously, that guy's got history up the wazoo
Oh,
and
my God.
is responsible for so many good things.
Yeah.
Debbie is a fighter.
Oh, she is a scrapper.
It's going to be
I mean, I've seen her just in action
at
on
least
little.
as good as John. I mean, it is. It's a different day, of course. But
Yeah,
she's
but-
tough.
Yeah. She's going to be a powerful woman in
Yes, I agree. Soon,
there.
too.
Yep.
That's the Dingle district. It has to be a Dingle. I mean, how many years in a row have we had a Dingle as the representative out of that district?
Oh, my God.
About 70.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Yeah, long time.
I think they're shooting for a century.
Well, you know what? If they're as good as John and Debbie,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Get it going.
absolutely. They've done a lot of stuff for the little guy and the veterans and just a lot of stuff. Very, very good people.
So
Powerful.
elections are, as I posted on Facebook, it's a giddy time for some of us.
Oh,
It really
for
is.
those that like talking politics like we do, it's a big time for us. I enjoy it. I mean, Cheryl not so much, but I do.
Same with Faye.
Yeah.
She's,
You got any comments you want to say about the election? What's your 2 cents?
no, I was hoping that for state representative, that one of the two women, that I thought were good would win, and Julie did. So I'm satisfied with that. And of course, I strongly supported David. I knew that he was going to be challenged because of the mixed nature of the district. I mean, it's Democratic, but the demographics in there are certainly not
he's
like Dearborn Heights by any stretch of the matter.
he will definitely be under the microscope in Detroit. There's no doubt. But I know he can handle it. I know he can do it.
I think that they'll
When
see
they
his
see,
service and they'll like it.
exactly.
Yeah, I assume they'll see the same thing that we've seen, that he's very dedicated, he's very sincere, he's very involved, he takes the job very seriously.
Get your answers.
And after 4 years, they're going to come back and say, this guy's done a decent job for us, let's reelect him.
And not to explode your head or anything, but he has had some really good mentors in you, and now he's going to have a good mentor in Glenn. So, really, I mean, the guy's he's got to succeed big time.
Hey, you got to help those that are in the next generation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is our future.
I remember when I was the young guy.
Yeah, this is our future. I mean, these young guys, you got to get them in there and fresh ideas.
Somebody who can think for himself.
Yes.
Doesn't listen to somebody and say, "Oh, this is what my party wants me to do. I'm going to do it, irregardless."
I was
analyze the issue, and he's going to work with whoever he needs to get something done.
I had a couple people talking to me, and they love David, and they just hope that he doesn't. Their words, not mine. Get to Lansing, get corrupt, get in with those guys. And I said, it's not going to happen. It just will not happen. I don't see it happening. Not with him.
No.
I mean, he was just raised, really, really
Yeah,
good. He had great parents.
He's got the resume that is not conducive to that.
Yeah.
No.
So
I talked to him.
it'll be fine.
I talked to him.
But that's always in the back of everybody's head. I mean,
Sure.
They don't want him to be quamified.
I think that one's first term is ever so defining.
It is. Yes.
And
very, very important.
I remember my own first term at each level of government that I was in. Of course, I'm in my first term as a county commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ever so defining, and you have a chance, and you can't blow it.
You're not term limited, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, but the other positions I've held, I remember the first time I became elected to those offices, and
first impressions, man, are
Yeah,
really,
it's-
really important.
yeah, so he'll be fine. And I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you,
think so.
he already knows that if something occurs that even has the appearance of, well, wait a second here, he'll hear about it.
Oh, you better
But-
believe it.
But it's really not even
But
worth
that's
talking about.
no, it isn't. It isn't.
It's just in his DNA
Yeah, it
to
is.
do a good job. I had talked to one voter.
Yeah, he's really
when I was
sincere.
working the precincts on Tuesday,
Yeah.
who said that he had no problem with David, and he pulls up his sleeve and shows me this Marine tattoo.
We had the same thing.
And he says he's a jarhead. He'll do a good job.
Hoorah.
You can believe what he says.
We actually, at the night precinct where I worked, had several. I mean, they just didn't even want any of the literature. We already know. He's got our vote.
Yeah.
And we're a veteran. No, we know. But one guy actually came up and says, I crossed over party lines to vote for him. Man, I thought that was really, the guy was just, he loved him, So it was good to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Very good to hear
All right,
that.
let's get off him. We gave him too much time.
Yeah, I know. He's got a big head.
Crossing over party lines in this election in Garden City was no big thing because there was no real challenges in your own party.
Yeah, that's true. But this guy just wanted to make a point of that. And I said, well, okay, we appreciate it. He'll take it. All right. So Facano, the era of Facano is done. He'll be out of there come January, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he serves until New Year's Eve.
What do you see with the new regime coming in, Evans?
It's hard to say. I've known Mr. Evans for, I'm going to say 10 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that the discipline that he demanded and exhibited while sheriff, and this comes to me from folks that I've known for a long time in the sheriff department, I would expect that same level of discipline to be implemented at the county level.
See, he's in the same boat David is. First impression, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coming in, new, fresh.
Well,
They'll be watching
but
them.
folks know him.
What
There
ideas?
there is a difference.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And he has an obviously really good working relationship.
But he
with-
has to prove
with Mayor
himself. Let's
Duggan.
face it. Yeah.
My hope is that the commission, which, everything goes through the commission at some point, my hope is that the commission is genuinely interested in working with him.
Receptive,
And I
yeah.
believe that is the case. I've heard nothing that would suggest otherwise. So I think that once he dips his feet in and sees what he has to work with, and
And he's inheriting a mess. Let's face it.
there are a number
It could
of
be
things
worse.
though that,
Could be
that have
worse.
been, I won't say entirely cleaned up, but they've been addressed.
Probably the biggest thing's the jail, I would imagine.
Biggest thing's
And
the jail,
yeah.
but the fact that all the discovery has already occurred, and now we're working on the solution.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the solution is easier than having addressed what the heck happened. So the solution, it's going to be one of a couple different things, and I hope that he wishes to be actively involved in that.
Have you heard any of his ideas
No.
for the? Okay.
I haven't. And I'm not sure how he and Mr. Fracano are going to
Transition.
touch base between now and January 1st. What I do know is that Warren Evans is not going to step on anyone's toes before January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And that he'll come in with I would imagine, a team that is reflective of what he wants, and probably a number of folks that will be carried over that do good work. So there will be changes.
So he can absorb some of Facano's people, right? Or no? Or,
the appointed folks that work solely and on an at-will basis for the executive have the option of being considered
okay.
by the county executive on January 1st. He may or may not elect to keep, one or more.
Yeah.
I expect there are people that will stay,
Mm-hmm.
that will want to stay, and that he will agree will stay. I also expect that there are some people who are probably, polishing up the resume.
Yeah.
Because,
right.
look, it just depends on where you're at. It is politics.
Yeah. It's not a secure job by any means.
Yeah.
But hopefully the transition period between the two of you go well.
Yeah,
I think it will.
I don't anticipate any difficulty personally. I can tell you I've already had some people ask me if once the dust settled, if there's an opportunity to serve as liaison to get some people together, and I said, sure, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But never county executive.
What I mean by that, let me clarify. Well, no, what I mean by that is that other folks would wish to have access to the county executive for a conversation.
Oh, okay.
That's
got
what
you.
I mean.
Okay.
I don't know what you meant, but I wanted to make sure that I clarified right away.
I don't know what you meant. All right. So what else? Anything else?
Yeah, today.
How's the budget coming?
Well, we had another meeting today. The budget is very boring, very flat, very static as compared to the existing budget. Really, it is.
Okay.
That was by design. I've mentioned it before.
Not
For
a lot of
example.
changes or?
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, aside from things that are representative of inflationary increases, there's really nothing notable in this budget.
A lot of innovation.
I'm sorry?
Not a lot of innovation. There's no room for it.
Well,
other than
our budget is flat for a number of reasons. The county is not flush with money. The tax base has continued to slide since 2003, really, but incredibly since 2009.
Yeah.
And we've been told it's leveled off. We could expect to see a very slight uptick beginning next year.
Mm-hmm.
If that proves to be true, we'll be selective with what happens, I'm sure. But for right now, we're trying to provide essential service, and we'll see how that goes. But so yes, we did have a meeting on the budget today. Previous to that, I chaired a meeting with the Efficiency and Accountability Committee where we had Prosecutor Kim Worthy in. She offered some suggestions as to how her office can be more efficient and save county money.
Now that's a question for you. How do you think Worthy and Evans will work together? I
Great.
mean, there was a lot of stress between Ficano
great.
and.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
In fact, she endorsed him.
Okay.
They've known each other a long, long time.
So that should work out good then. Hopefully in her favor.
His comment, and I'm paraphrasing right now, but his comment has been, we need to focus more resources within the public safety and
Yeah.
legal environment, which of course includes the prosecutor office.
Mm-hmm,
So I would expect they're going to have a good relationship.
Good.
And yeah, so, and then previous to that, of course, we held our business meeting, the county commission meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We have, once every 15 meetings, we have the ability to either offer invocation at the beginning or bring somebody in to give invocation on our behalf. So I had Buddy Shue perform invocation today.
Okay, I saw that on Facebook. I was wondering what he meant.
Yeah.
He was at the Guardian building
Yes.
today. Okay.
Yes. So
Very
I haven't
cool.
posted anything yet. I've been kind of busy today. But,
Okay.
You know, maybe
You
tonight.
get some pictures and.
I got a few photos.
Good, good.
So yeah, he was my guest today,
Oh, awesome.
and we had a nice time, brief time together before the meeting began.
That was nice.
His comments, which followed, of course, my comments, his comments were very considerate to the elected folks in Wayne County, to the residents of Wayne County, the taxpayers. And then, of course, he offered invocation and then left afterward. But it was pretty nice of him to come down.
Very nice.
And he did it all for parking pass. That was it, you know. So it was
That's cool.
very nice.
That
One
is
of the other
cool.
things that, two other things actually that were notable that happened that I want to mention. One of them is that my office became contacted by Lisa Rutledge. I don't know if Lisa's ever been on this show.
No.
It might be an opportunity for some time in the future. I know she'd like it.
All right.
Lisa is very involved in the Western Wayne Family Health Centers.
Okay.
And they acknowledged in an email message that there were a number of things, accomplishments, and notable events that occurred recently that they wondered whether we might be able to essentially just provide some sort of acknowledgement of that. So I said, well, let's do a resolution. So I got all my colleagues to sign. We formally adopted this resolution recognizing these folks. They came down today, made a presentation. It was pretty nice.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was very nice. I've actually visited one of the health centers, and I think there are 3 of them around here. But I visited the one in Inkster, one in Westland. I've been to both of those.
Okay.
They do good work, and it's really based upon ability to pay.
Mm.
And I think it's a secret. Not intentional, but not everybody knows about this. So I'm going to put a plug in, maybe get her on the show.
Yeah, why don't you work on that? We'll
Yeah.
get her on. Yeah, that'd be good.
And then near the end of the meeting, one of the things that's always on the agenda at the county level, and had not been in any other elective office I've held, is where we get to acknowledge resolutions in memoriam, folks that have passed away. And one that I had on there today was for Marv Martin. Marv, a Garden City resident for his entire life, a retired Wayne County deputy sheriff, graduated from Garden City High School, Garden City West,
Okay.
back in the day. Marv passed away about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
And Marv was just a really neat guy. Back when I knew of Marv but didn't know him. I've known Marv since the late 70s.
Wow.
But before then, when he was a young guy, he was one tough hombre.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't mess with him, Marv, huh?
Marv was a cool dude, and he could take care of business.
Wow.
And he served an entire career with the sheriff office. He retired. He lived on Maplewood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'd been there for a long time, forever. And
I did not know him.
Marv, when he got a grandchild, he became the softest guy you'd ever want to meet. Just
that happens
adored
right around
his
your finger.
grandson. Yeah, and really a sudden, unexpected death. And
Yeah, it's too bad.
yeah, Marv was a great guy, so we had an opportunity to recognize him too. So
That's nice.
yeah,
So you had a busy day.
busy day.
Busy day.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what do you got? What's new with you?
I don't have anything special that's new. Garden City Kiwanis is going to be sponsoring a casino trip in September.
Yep.
So people that are interested,
Motor City, I believe, right?
they're going to Motor City. They're doing it on the.
I didn't print that email out. I got it from John.
It's I think the 24th of September.
Yeah. I think so. That sounds
And
familiar.
Party Animal has all the information. You can call Party Animal Travel to
Yeah, they're going
sign
through
up. They've
Jerry.
already got like 17 people on the bus already. And
Oh, okay. What the heck? Yeah.
So-
He's a mute. Okay.
then we're going to have a member night where we try to show the club off to new people on that same day.
Oh, okay.
And the
Anything free?
yeah, lunch. And there's the Family Resource Center is getting low in the supplies that they give to new mothers, and they give them a basket of supplies and so
right.
forth.
Yeah.
So the Kiwanis is going to try to get supplies for them. We've been divided up into a blue team and a pink team.
Oh.
Monica Fulton is the head of the blue team, and Julie Zivek is the head of the pink team.
Oh, okay.
And all the men are on the blue team, and all the women are on the pink team.
Oh, okay.
Pink wins.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. You better question whether you want to be on a losing side on this one. They talked about maybe on that meeting on the 18th, the losing side members might have to drink their beverage out of a baby bottle or something like that.
Oh yeah, we'll get pictures of that for sure. So, what will they be doing? Trying to look for donations, or?
Yeah, we've got a whole list of supplies that they want. Onesies and twosies and wipes and small toys.
So if people want to make a donation, I mean,
They can do that.
Contact-
The club will probably make a couple $100 donations so that they can use that money to supplement
yeah,
the stuff that we get and so forth. But
well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always good. Good cause. All right. Well, hey,
Of course, my baseball team is
what the
and
heck
the
is
kids-
going on with the Tigers, man?
God.
1-0 today now.
Yeah, they can't hit a lick. They've had
Great pitching and no hitting. Then we'll have hitting, no
Eight innings
pitching.
ago, they got 6 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
they got 6 runs in 4 games this time.
Yeah. Isn't that pitiful? Wow. I don't know. So now they're off to Toronto. That's not going to be easy either.
Hey.
No. Yeah.
All right, I know. It's never too early to talk about the Sandland Parade. Dan York sent me some info, and I wanted to get this out there. I know, Richard, you're a big fan of that.
I'm a fan of the parade,
I know you are.
but not the winner.
I know it. The theme has been announced for the 54th annual. 54 years. Wow. This year's theme is Christmas Through the Decades. And it's going to be held on Saturday, November 29th, beginning at 10 a.m. The parade will begin at the Garden City High School, travel south on Middle Belt Road, turn east on Ford Road, and conclude at Central Street. So I'll be talking more about this as we go on, but he wanted me to get that out. I'm going to be posting entry forms and more information on our Facebook page, so you can check that out. But as we get closer, I will mention it more about it.
Yeah, Kiwanis will have a float in it.
Going to have a float, a new one. And
I'll probably walk because
you're walking.
because Michigan's in Columbus that day instead of the other
Oh
way
yeah,
around.
you won't be there. Yeah, yeah.
Last year it was in Ann Arbor, so
Yeah.
I missed the parade.
All right, well, look, we're an hour and 12 minutes into the show. Remember, our shows are always recorded, and you can find them on our main show page over at TalkShoe.com. Search for show ID 82757. You can see all 211 shows over there for you. You can check out at your convenience. And then, as always, we will upload the latest show when it's made available on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat. And for those of you that I said would like to put a face with the voice, the videotape will be found on our YouTube channel later on at youtube.com/communitychatshow. So no matter what, we have you covered. You won't miss a thing. And we thank you all for listening and your support. All right, I do
Hey,
want.
Kerry?
Yeah. Hello,
Gary, this is Sneeze.
Steve.
Sneezy.
Oh, Sneezy, how you doing?
Good.
Good to
I
see.
figured I'd better call in. You guys were talking so much earlier about David.
Yeah.
We're going to quit doing that, too. We'll talk about his
Well, it
parents.
took me about 20 minutes to figure out how to finally get through. I guess I'm not as tech savvy as I thought.
You're not. You're
Next time you got to go to my
challenged.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
I posted it.
Yeah, there you go. So what's up?
Hey, anyways, I just wanted to call and thank you and Cheryl and Richard and Cheryl for all your support for Dave over the past
Our
month.
pleasure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was an honor.
I know, definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
And I know David does too.
Well, he comes from good stock, that's for sure.
Yep.
We appreciate everything you guys have done for him.
Yeah, and that was a great party too. We really enjoyed ourselves. I just wish we would have known more before we left there, but you know those things happen. And hey, the outcome came out good.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And by the way, I have some signs for you if you want to pick them up, or I can bring them to you.
I'll stop by and pick him up one day next week, probably.
Yeah, no hurry. We got them in our backyard, right by the deck, so no big deal.
I know they have a good home.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep mine for November.
So yeah, we're real proud of David and real happy that he won, and I think he's going to do a great job representing us.
I think so too. I think everybody's really pleased.
So we got to get together. We do dinner or something, huh?
I'm thinking, we should all hit Tony's there at the Garden City Cafe one night.
Oh yeah, he'd love that. Let me tell
Top
you.
it off with some of those banana splits.
Oh, they're awesome. Let me tell you. Hey, whenever you guys are ready, let us know. We'll make it happen.
You got it.
All right. You take it easy.
All right,
all right.
great show tonight.
Thank you. Take care.
You guys.
Talk to you. Bye.
All right, thanks. Good.
All right.
Good night.
Yep. Night. All right. Let me just mention some of these upcoming shows. Next week, like I mentioned, August 14th, we got Lisa Morales and Dawn Lafferty from Angels Above Baby Gowns. What they do is turn wedding dresses into burial gowns for infants that never make it home from the hospital. They actually work with our friend Buddy Shue, who you had mentioned earlier, and his Tears organization. And then on August 21st, we will have Paul Ruthenberg and Mike Logan here from Midwest Sanitation. They're going to talk about back in the day and how they progressed and recycling and that. Should be interesting. Looking forward to that. And then wrapping August up on the 28th, Aaron Sandberg, a spokesperson for VEMA, not FEMA, VEMA, a physician-formulated and clinically studied supplemental drink. It's supposed to be really good. His 72-year-old grandmother takes it, and she swears by it. Feels good, looks good. You know Barb Sandberg.
Yep.
Yeah, she looks good.
Commission on Aging.
Yep, on our Commission on Aging. So we'll see how that goes. We got some samples we got to try, Richard. Maybe, I don't know, maybe to make our hair darker. I don't know.
Something.
We'll see what happens. So anyway, interesting shows coming up, and we hope we can share it with you. Look, anybody that wants to come on, maybe you provide a service, you own a business, and you want to come on the show, all you have to do is contact us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. And we will get you on. We'll squeeze you in there. I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else that I have to say. You got anything? You want to talk about Make Senior Smile? When's that going to be now? November?
It's the second Saturday
Yeah.
of November.
Okay.
What is that, the 8th, I think?
Yeah, I think it was the 8th we said.
And
Mike's looking it up as we speak.
8 o'clock at Maplewood
Yep.
for volunteers. We only need about 150.
Okay.
So if you were one in the past, we want you again. If you've never done it, we want you.
It's a good time. It really
It's
is.
fun.
It is. It's fun.
It takes
lot
a
of
couple hours.
Camaraderie there.
And again, Michigan's on the road that day. I can participate.
Yeah.
That's why I arranged all that.
Yeah,
me-
thank you.
Give me 5.
Yeah, so we'll give you a little continental breakfast,
T-shirt.
T-shirt, kick you out, do a little bit of work, rain or shine.
So people, I mean, you're looking for volunteers now, right?
We need volunteers.
So what do they do? Who do they call? What do they, how
Call
do they
the
contact you?
office,
Okay.
313-224-8855.
All
Once
right.
again, 313-224-8855, or you can email to district12@waynecounty.com, and that's district12@waynecounty.com. If you would wish to volunteer, we want you.
Oh yeah, we love
If you
that
have a
idea.
friend, we want them. If you have a family, we'll take them.
Right.
And again, if you've done it, you already know all this, but if you haven't, it really is a very minimal amount of time to help a
Yeah.
senior in town.
And you're
get
doing
their-
what, 25, 30 homes this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
And when are you
going
gonna
to
get those?
We'll have those by October. We've got a.
You
we've
already
got
have a short
most
list?
of them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a
It
lot
is.
of fun. It's
It
just
is. It's
one
a good
half
time.
A day.
Makes you feel
You're
good.
actually only raking for, actual raking, maybe an hour.
Last year was
Truly.
really a good day
Yeah.
too. It was real nice.
It was.
Very nice. Good
Yeah,
turnout.
so we'll mention it more and more as we get
And
closer.
Lowe's, man, they come through big time.
Yeah, Lowe's is going to help again this year.
It's awesome. They're great.
Yeah, we've got Mary Rivero's helping this year.
Yeah, seniors helping
Lisa,
seniors.
Hicks Clayton. Darn
Lisa.
it. I apologize, Lisa, if you're
Lisa
listening.
Hicks Clayton.
Hicks Clayton, thank you, is also suggesting that she wants to do something nominal to help, which is great.
Absolutely.
We'll take all the help we can get,
Better believe it.
financially and otherwise. There are a few things that I have to pay for. We'll make sure you get recognition. We don't have a bank account, so I'm not keeping anything.
Well,
We don't
hey,
use or spend it, we give it back.
you'll take currency
So-
too. You'll take
Yeah,
currency
so
too, donation.
We provide
Monetary.
a continental breakfast. We provide water to take with you on the road. We provide a pizza lunch at the end.
Bags.
And we say thank you.
Lowe's provides the bags.
Yeah.
I think they even supplied a bunch of rakes too, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty awesome. It's a fun time. It really is. So, and you know you're doing a good thing. Makes you feel good. The seniors like it.
Love it.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to call this a podcast.
Podcast.
I want to thank everyone that participated in tonight's show.
You're welcome.
A special thanks to Theresa Russo. Boy, she was really good, wasn't she?
She was.
Great talker. From the Alzheimer's Association, we hope everybody learned something tonight. I know we did. It was very informative. Also, thanks to my co-host Richard and Dr. Tom, as always. And, hey, thanks to Mike Jones for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you in the studio, Mike.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who hung out in the chat room with us. We appreciate your support every week. If you have a show idea or a guest you'd like us to try and get on, just send us an email at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. We're going to be working on September once I get back from our little vacation. So send those names in, whatever you got. And if you haven't joined our mailing list yet, make sure you send us an email, and in the subject line, just add me to your mailing list. Send it to gccommunitychat@gmail.com. Join us next Thursday, August 14th, for show number 212 at 8 p.m. right here on TalkShoe.com, show ID 82757, when we welcome Dawn Lafferty and Lisa Morales to the show from their organization, Angels Above Baby Gowns. Should be another good one. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. Remember, the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And don't forget the business card swap and meet and greet tomorrow morning, August 8th at 9 a.m. at Guardian Martial Arts, 309424 Ford Road. And you can give them a call at 734-266-0565. We hope you can make it. And remember, if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe to the show. That way you'll be notified automatically when we post a new one. So on behalf of Richard, Tom, and Mike, this is Carrie. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
I'm not crashing tonight, because I'm going to crash tonight.
Are you going home?
Yeah. I moved.
I will stay here then, and
I really haven't caught up from election night, where I was up until 3:15-ish. Man.
I didn't catch up either because I got up at 5:30-ish.
Yeah. Well, I went to bed. I saw the clock at 3:15 and went upstairs. It took me just a little bit to fall but I was up at 8 and I shouldn't have been.
Well, yeah, I was up at, Tuesday was a long, long day. Oh my God. I was wasted. We didn't do anything that day. I mean, Wednesday. And then I was up at like 7 this morning, and then tomorrow morning's gonna be early with that business card thing. You couldn't come? You gonna make it?
No, I'm going to go to cardiac rehab.
Oh, do you?
I need to get that half-hour of exercise, prevent that Alzheimer's.
All right.
I'm 72, you know me.
Okay.
You got to do what you can.
No problemo.
Fend it off.
See you guys.